morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Wednesday, March 20th, 2013. Spring arrived at about 7:10 a.m. this morning, although it'll be hard to tell that. Last evening, President Obama at Andrews Air Force Base in Washington boarded his Air Force 1747 to fly to Israel. He arrived in Tel Aviv this morning. He was greeted by Israeli President Shimon Peres as well as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Apparently, this first visit to the country as president is going to include a significant agenda item, mainly the fact that the Israelis are now indicating that it's clear that chemical weapons were recently used in Syria, and this attack will be certainly part of the conversation. The statement by the newly appointed Minister of Intelligence for the Israeli government conflicts with American assessments that there's no evidence behind accusations traded yesterday between Syrian rebels and Bashar Assad's regime that chemical weapons had been used in an attack in the north of the country. The Israeli minister did not say how he came to the conclusion, but it was confirmed subsequently by an Israeli defense minister. Israel has repeatedly expressed concern that Syria's chemical weapons arsenal could fall into the hands of anti-Israel militants like Lebanon's Hezbollah, which is an ally of Assad, or even worse, an al-Qaeda-linked group that's fighting with the rebels. 19 Polish miners have been pulled alive and well from a copper mine after being trapped for about 10 hours after a small earthquake. They were trapped about 2,000 feet below the surface. It took about 7 hours to tunnel through collapsed rock to reach the miners. They were working at the Rudna copper mine in southern Poland. The mine is apparently operated by KGHM, which is the state-controlled operator. It's Europe's second biggest copper producer. In Turkey, 2 grenades exploded outside the Justice Ministry in Ankara, and the office of the ruling AK party in Turkey was hit by a light anti-tank weapon. This occurred just days before an expected ceasefire with Kurdish terrorists or rebels, depending upon how you wish to view them. Turkish TV showed footage of police cordoning off streets and ambulances arriving. Apparently only one person was slightly injured. There was no immediate claim of responsibility. Well, South Korea has been hit by a very well-coordinated cyber attack today. Knocked down the country's major broadcasters, 2 large banks, and all of South Korea's social media sites. Most of the banks seem to be back up and operating. Apparently, this was a highly planned attack. Initial speculation, of course, is focusing on North Korea, which has hacked into South Korean institutions before, but right now they can't ascertain who was at blame. The South Korean Army raised its alert level after the suspected cyber attack. That line of thunderstorms that went through the southeastern U.S. yesterday could end up bringing about 50,000 insurance claims in the state of Mississippi alone. This is mainly for automobile and property damage as a result of hail. The storm left damage in at least 18 Mississippi counties. A state senator, Dean Kirby, who has been in the insurance business for many years, commented that based on previous storms and estimates of how many claims there will be for this storm, perhaps as many as 35,000, quote, he wouldn't be surprised if the damage reached $100 million. It's a lot of money for this early in the season. Saudi Arabia has arrested 18 suspected spies, including an Iranian and a Lebanese. The rest were Saudi citizens on charges of espionage, spying for another country. The Saudis said that they were gathering information about installations in vital areas in the country and providing intelligence agencies of the state with it. The arrested people were all Shia. Shia, of course, are the minority. There are only 2 million of them in the Sunni-dominated Saudi Arabian kingdom of about 28 million people. A boat capsized off southern Nigeria in the past few days. The date is uncertain. It was carrying an estimated 128 people. Only 2 have been found alive. There were indications that the boat had originated from the Congo, but this has not yet been confirmed. Well, Cyprus is still in the news, and I think we have finally pinned the tail on the correct donkey. Here we go. Cyprus is now pleading for a loan from Russia to avert a financial meltdown, but has won no immediate relief from Russia. This was after the Cypriot parliament rejected the terms of the European bailout, which included the much talked about levy assessment on savings deposits in banks. Cyprus has to get Moscow's help. after the Eurozone rescue plan for 10 billion euros was thrown into doubt yesterday when the Parliament rebuffed the EU demands for a levy on bank deposits. Moscow, of course, has its own interest in ensuring the survival of banks in Cyprus because they have served as an offshore financial haven for Russian businesses and individuals. The European Central Bank, putting the pressure on Cyprus, said that they'll have to pull the plug on Cypriot banks real soon unless the country accepted the bailout quickly. So what we have now is a situation where, since not a single Cypriot lawmaker voted for the bailout, which included the proposed levy, we have the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who is Europe's main paymaster, saying it's up to the Cypriot government to come up with an alternative proposal, but that it was fair to expect that deposits with over 100,000 euros could contribute to the bailout. And we have the Russians with the biggest vested interest in keeping the banks alive and not having the European Union pull the plug on the banks. Let's see what happens. But at least finally, the appropriate people are in the room talking. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.